Hey, happy Tuesday, and welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. We're back. It's Greg Boysen. It's Mario Tirabassi, who's still missing our third, our center on our line.
Yeah, I think he's a center.
Yeah, even though he sits on the wing, he's...
Yeah.
Whatever.
But
Jay Zalowski is still...
I've got his book there,
he's
for the second
he's
straight
here
year.
in spirit and in written word.
Published spirit.
If we really miss him, I could read a chapter of his book later in the show.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That'd be
great.
I'll do it in his Chicago man voice, my friend. But yes, Jay's out again, still recovering from his oral surgery, so he'll be back Thursday when I'm not here
when
for
you're
a couple
gone.
of days.
Yeah.
So Mario is going to have a sore back by mid next week for carrying the show. But
gonna need some hip resurfacing after this week.
It's why we pay you the big bucks around here.
Yeah,
Don't get hip resurfacing. That sounds awful. So
yeah, no thanks.
It's Tuesday. We got some mailbag questions we didn't get to yesterday. We're going to attempt to get to at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff and things going on. The
hockey world decided, here's all the stuff you'll talk about today.
The Columbus Blue Jackets are continuing to do
yeah.
weird, strange things. There's a trade in the process. Apparently, they're getting Ivan Provorov from the Flyers.
Yep.
The Kings are involved in the trade. There's a bunch of stuff going around, but we can't figure out exactly what's getting. Apparently, it sounds like the Flyers are getting 2 draft picks, including a first, and like 3 players for Ivan freaking Provorov, and the Kings are getting nothing.
Oh, and by the way, they're also trying to shop Carter Hart.
Yeah.
There's so many moving pieces right now.
Danny Briere is taking a flamethrower to his team right now, and rightfully so.
And so are the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, but they're doing it not in a good way. And allegedly they're going to be hiring Mike Babcock as soon as his contract with the Maple Leafs expires, which I'm going to assume is July 1st.
Yes, because he's still getting paid by Maple Leafs until the end of this month.
So you're going to bring in Mike Babcock. You're bringing in Ivan Provorov.
Quite the locker room.
Yeah.
But you're not getting Connor Bedard.
And you're not getting Connor
Bedard.
Bedard. Yeah, and you're giving up your second first-round pick.
Yeah, you're giving up your second or mid-round first-round pick in a historically deep draft for 2 years of Ivan Provorov, a middle-pairing defenseman. How about you draft an 18-year-old middle-pairing defenseman with that pick?
Sure, why not?
That you don't have to pay $6 million to the next 2 seasons. But, hey, what do I know? Why doesn't, I'm not even going to attempt to say his name, the Finnish general manager.
Kekalainen?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He's, they said this is like the summer that's going to determine his fate in Columbus. Why don't you just quit? Just quit.
You don't have to do it this way. Yeah.
Because he certainly looks like I'm a GM that's trying to get fired. And how about poor Johnny Gaudreau? Could have spent the next 7 years playing wing for Jack Hughes. Now he's got to go to Columbus, and Mike Babcock's going to be his coach.
It's just such a weird, path that Columbus is taking, because you have this young and up and coming team that just actively looked like they were trying to suck last year in games. I know the Blackhawks were in the same boat, but you watch them play games, it was 2 different times, 2 different ways of losing games. The Blackhawks were trying hard and just were out-talented on most nights. The Blue Jackets, while they were also out-talented, just were not trying. Like, you could completely see it. And I don't know if that's the move to say, oh, we need someone who's going to kick some ass in our locker room like Mike Babcock. But for a young, up-and-coming, developing team, I don't think Mike Babcock is the answer. And I don't see what giving up a first-round pick does for getting Ivan Provorov. I don't think he's this big game changer that's going to completely, change the course of your franchise. And, he's going to, he takes the place of Vladislav Gavrikov, who they gave up last year. You could have just kept Gavrikov and kept all this stuff. Like, it's weird. It's a weird,
because you're giving up
weird move.
You're giving up the pick you got for Gavrikov for Provorov.
Right.
So you essentially traded Gavrikov for Provorov. That's a lot of coughs.
Yeah. I
Sounds like
I
they
don't
need some Robitussin, but
yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it, but I'm glad I'm not a fan of that team.
And this whole deal looks like it's coming down to Columbus just coming away with Provorov. The Kings are retaining 30% of Provorov's deal, and they're also getting rid of Cal Peterson, Sean Walker, their second-round pick, and prospect Helid Grans. All those guys, plus the 22nd overall pick, is going to Philly.
For Ivan Provorov?
Doesn't make sense.
What the fuck
Hey.
is going on? He's not Bobby Orr, for Christ's
No,
sake.
your
Holy smokes.
flabbergastery is shared by me here.
Danny Briere's got pictures on these dudes.
He's got to. He's got to have
He's
something.
got some dirt. Like, this is...
Unless Carter Hart is involved in this in some way.
He's got to be. What are the Kings getting out of this? They're giving...
Cap space.
But they're retaining salary.
Yeah, but they're getting rid of Walker and Grans and Cal Peterson.
Okay.
So you get rid of three guys as cap space, and they're
equal to what they're retaining in Provorov.
30%. Yeah, I don't know the math
30% is
on
about
it, but
$2 million.
yeah,
I don't get it. Well, let's wait till we get the official stuff.
We'll hopefully get the official deal by the end of this show.
There's a missing piece. A missing piece here to this. Little Blackhawk 19
missing.
says Kings are saving about $8 million in cap. Really? Those guys are making that much money.
Sean Walker has a deceptively high contract.
All right.
I'll find it.
We'll wait till we get all the official word before we start screaming. Listen, it's three teams I could care less about. So
$2.65 million for Sean Walker,
and then Cal Peterson's not making much.
Cal Peterson. Peterson.
But all right. Anyway, they're obviously trying to clear space.
Cal Peterson's at $5 million this year and next year.
$5 million.
$5
Jesus.
million. Yep.
You signed Cal Peterson to $5 million?
There's your $7.6 million in change of cap space.
I'm shocked that Cal Peterson's cap is that high. Okay, never mind. Moving on. We'll talk about this trade when it's officially official.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah. So
that's
what's going on right now, and that could change in 2 minutes. So let's talk about things that happened or may be happening. We'll start last night. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. Woo boy. The Florida Panthers are in big trouble.
Yes.
They got smoked 7-2.
Two waxings by the Vegas Golden Knights of the once red-hot Florida Panthers.
They've been outscored 12-4 in 2 games.
Yeah, and when we talked with Liam McHugh, he said that the layoff was really concerning for the Panthers, and I think we all kind of were like, yeah, maybe, but they're, at least for me, I was like, yeah, it's a long layoff, but like once they get back into game, up to game speed and everything, like they probably have the ability to get that magic back that they've had the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, and man, it has not been there, and no. it's Sergei Bobrovsky pulled. You can't hang everything on him because it just looks like this does not look like the same Florida Panthers team that we saw in the first 3 rounds.
No, something's changed. The biggest change is their 2 best players are not playing very good.
Yeah.
Bobrovsky and Matthew Tkachuk has been bad.
Yeah.
He's been out of control. He's been extra emotional, trying even harder to be physical and get under the skin. And he did a great job of balancing that through those first 3 rounds where he was effective. He's not being effective. I know he scored a goal last night, but it was a meaningless goal.
I mean, they were down 6-1, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, and of course, the play everybody's talking about is the hit that he had on Jack Eichel.
It's a big hit.
Big hit and 100% clean. Absolutely nothing wrong with the hit. Had Eichel Eichel saw him coming.
Yeah.
He had the puck. Kachuk's arm it stayed perfectly tucked in his body. The elbow never came out. He never left his feet.
Yeah.
Had Eichel saw him and then toe picked trying to get out of the way, and that's what made it look worse. But he still never hit him in the head. Mm-hmm. And had he not toe picked, he would have drilled him right in the chest.
Yeah.
Perfectly clean hit. Eichel gets up all weird and twitchy and heads right off the ice. It was scary.
It was good to see him come back.
Yeah, because when you think about him coming off that neck injury,
Yeah.
you were like, oh no, what happened? And then, of course, Big scrum happens.
Mm-hmm.
And Tkachuk gets a 10-minute misconduct for defending himself after a clean hit, which is, to me, is just garbage. Absolute garbage. There was no reason to give him a penalty there.
The misconduct train was left the station last night. It's crazy. Like, Florida, they were, a super undisciplined team through the regular season, and then they kind of locked it down through the first 3 rounds, and now it just seems like it's coming back out. And I think what's happening here for them is, especially a guy like Matthew Tkachuk, like getting under the skin of an opponent is really important. It's a really important part of his game. I think the Panthers and Tkachuk specifically have run up against a Vegas team that they also can do that, and they also are able to not to fall into those traps.
How many times have Ivan Barbashev just skated away?
Yeah.
In these 2 games, they're trying to get him to take the bait, and he just kind of goes, nope, skates right to the bench, looks up and says, we're winning. I'm not doing anything stupid. We're in control here. They've been very smart. Bruce Cassidy's done a great job keeping these guys' heads on their shoulders and saying, don't get involved.
Yeah.
But still, that whole post-scrum, got to fight after a clean hit. And I get it. It was a fast hit. It was open ice. You saw your one of your best players in some distress, so you're gonna come to his defense. I don't have a problem with that. But what's Matthew Tkachuk supposed to do there? He's got 4 other guys jumping on him. Is he supposed to just lay there and get pummeled?
Right. No.
He's defending himself against 4 guys after a clean hit, which at the time the other 4 Knights players probably didn't care if it was clean or didn't know if it was clean. All I know is they saw Jack Eichel crawling off the ice.
You react in the moment. Yeah,
it's just the league needs to do more of a review of these types of plays and how they handle the penalties. If it's getting rid of the instigator, if it's just reviewing these things, they're passing out misconduct last night like it's Halloween candy.
Yeah, who had the line on Twitter that they were giving out more 10s than Nadia Comaneci got it? Was it Wayne Gretzky that said that?
Might have, yeah. It sounds like a Wayne thing. The Panthers are down 0-2, and they haven't really been in either of these games.
And credit to Vegas. Like, I know the hot team coming in was Florida, but, like, man, Vegas has done everything that they needed to have success in this postseason,
and
especially in this series. Yeah, Aiden Hill has stepped up. I know it was kind of like which hot goalie run was gonna last longer, and definitely Aiden Hill is winning that race between him and Bobrovsky.
Stop shooting at his glove hand. Yeah, they keep going glove hand, and he's snagging every single one. Maybe try the blocker side next time. Just a thought.
Little
just
variety.
A thought. Yeah. He's been terrific. You still keep waiting for the other shoe to drop when it comes to him, but hey,
maybe it won't.
Maybe it won't. He's only got to do it for 2 more games at this point, and he's going to be a Stanley Cup champion. Yeah. With the way he's played, with the way Logan Thompson played, is this basically all but assuring Robert Leonard of a contract buyout come July 1st?
Maybe.
They really don't need him in his contract and his weird snake farmer hanging around.
Yeah, I mean there might be multiple reasons.
There's a lot of reasons
for a buyout, but yeah, I mean if it's proven performances throughout the regular season and in the postseason, yeah, I mean Vegas has got some options there in net, and you look at the play of Jack Eichel, you look at the play of William Karlsson through the playoffs, you look at Jonathan Marchessault, like all of their big players are stepping up. The defense in front of Aiden Hill is doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and you look at how that defense is set up, it is like prototypical for what you want to have postseason success with, like big, physical, long, lanky defensemen that just make it hard for the opposing offense to do anything to get into their offensive zone.
Even when Hill does give up a rebound, they're there to
clearing it out.
They're not letting guys crash the net. They're making Hill's been able to play so well because the team in front of us made life easy on him. Yeah, he could see every shot coming. He's making the saves, and they're there to clear out the rebounds, the very few that he's given up.
Yeah, so, and it's been the opposite on the other end, too. Florida is not helping Bobrovsky at all. No. Now, you want him to make a couple saves, yes, but, man, like, the screenshots, getting screened by his own teammates, like, it's been a rough 2 games. I would love, from a fan perspective, to get a good Stanley Cup final. I would love to see Florida get back into this series, but man, they have such an uphill battle to do it. Yeah. And Vegas, it seemed like, Florida might have been like, oh, well, the pressure's not on us because we're not even supposed to be here. 8th seed, running through to the final and all that. Pressure's on Vegas. Vegas is like, what pressure? They're up 2-0 now.
Yeah.
So the pressure is now on Florida to be able to respond going back home. So it's going to be interesting to see how Game 3 plays out. If Vegas gets up 3-0, we might. I think a sweep is definitely on the table, and that would be quite the turnaround for Florida to sweep in and then be swept out.
6 or 7 games. Most people pick 6 or 7 games. Yeah, I hope Florida gets back into it just because I would prefer they win the Cup, but I also want more hockey.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last NHL hockey we're going to get to see until September and October. Like, give me 7 games, please. I don't want this to be over in 4 because I feel like I'm getting gypped to 3. I know.
I want to extend that time frame between the end of the final and our trip to Nashville.
Yes, I want as much hockey as possible.
Yeah.
I know my better half can't wait for this series to be over because she's tired of having to watch hockey on the couch.
Yeah.
But I need as much as I possibly can get before we go into the hockey desert known as the summer.
I thought that was Arizona.
Well, they may not even be that anymore. to be determined.
But let's be honest, guys. Like, who cares about the game last night? The thing that is keeping me alive is the
our
photos.
Precious boy,
our sweet, beautiful boy.
Our soon-to-be savior was there. Yes, Connor
Bedard made the rounds,
and he's becoming a star before he even steps on the ice. They had Connor Bedard, Will Smith, Adam Fantilli, and Leo Carlson, the top prospects, were there. They met the media. They got to take in a Stanley Cup Final game. Methinks this is not the last Stanley Cup Final game Connor Bedard will ever be in attendance to, but the next time he's at one.
Or the other 3, too.
I don't care about the other 3.
No, yeah. I mean,
those guys
hey, you don't know who the Blackhawks are taking.
That's right. We may take Will Smith first overall, but look at these.
We might trade up.
Yeah, look at these amazing
look
shots.
At that smile. That's
just personality, oozing charisma and personality.
That hair, the flow is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be like, that's what the face of a franchise is supposed to look like.
You get excited for the kid.
He's got the personality to go with the talent.
Mm-hmm.
Very media savvy. So, hey, I can't wait to talk to him
Great.
for the next 15 years on a daily basis. Seems like he's going to be very personable. And then he gets up to the booth, and he's sitting there next to Wayne Gretzky, and he's just cool as can be.
Yeah.
And then gives Biz a shot. That a shot heard around the Twitter world.
Around the world, yeah.
That everybody enjoyed, basically saying it's so great to be up here with all these elite players and Biz, which is God's honest
He's not
truth.
wrong. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes facts can be funny, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
Paul Bissonnette, while he's getting his chops in as an analyst, was
sitting between Wayne Gretzky and Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah, I mean, elite is not a word I would use for his hockey career.
No.
And he wouldn't either. I mean, there was the stat Bleacher Report set out the other day that
most NHL points.
Most NHL points on the TNT list, and Henrik Lundqvist, who's a goalie, had one more career point than Paul Bissonnette, who was a forward. So,
oh man,
it was a good shot by Connor Bedard.
Yep.
But we've told. He's got a great shot, and he had one last night.
Oh, absolutely.
Right across the bow.
Yeah, I mean, like, he was sitting next to Wayne Gretzky, but he told a story about how Gretzky texted him when Bedard was 14 years old, and he thought it was a joke. He didn't think it was actually Wayne Gretzky, and it turns out it was actually Wayne Gretzky. And Gretzky said he was just reaching out to him, knowing how good of a player he was, even at that age. And the pressures that come with that and all that. So, just to be in Bedard's position, you're going to turn 18 years old shortly after being drafted, and you're gonna be the face of a franchise. You're this generational talent. At 14 years old, you got Wayne freaking Gretzky texting you, giving you encouragement and advice and everything like that. That definitely could inflate your ego pretty quickly. But as we talked with Dante DiCario and just kind of getting to read more and learn more about Bedard, his personality is not that like big head ego kind of player, and he comes off as very genuine, very very humble given the kind of platform and podium that he's been already put on. And I go back to what he said, both on the TNT panel and in the little media availability he had. He was asked about what if the Blackhawks pick you? Like, how would you feel about that? And he said it would be incrable.
Yep.
He would be honored to play.
Like he said, if it happens, it would be great.
If they decide to take me,
debate.
the biggest if in the world.
Right. Otherwise, Jay's got to return this jersey.
Yeah, we're gonna scrub our YouTube of all the Bedard content. But no, I mean it just kind of goes to show, like, he seems like he's prepared for this moment. Obviously, he's been told by family, coaches, teammates, all the Wayne Gretzky, you're going to have these moments early on, and there's going to be a lot of pressure, and it seems like he's ready to ready to step into the NHL life and be able to take on those those pressures, and it's exciting to see him show a little bit of personality, have a little bit of fun, be a little loose on a national stage. Like, it's awesome.
I love this comment from Ace. Such an honor for Gretzky to sit right next to a legend like Bedard.
Kalen Patton says, for what it's worth, Biz does have more points than Bedard. Yeah, we'll give it about 4 weeks. He'll move. Yeah, I give, what is it, 22 points Biz had?
21.
21, yeah. I give it
3 weeks.
Give it about 11 games maybe. No, but he'll have that surpassed by Thanksgiving at the very latest. That was a good moment. That was a lot of fun to see that for Bedard, and I mean it just makes you a little bit more excited, Yep. And so then all the jealous fan base, 31 other fan bases who want to, especially the numbskulls in Vancouver that want to say Bedard's going to pull a Lindros. Well, he put that to bed, even though that was never an option.
That was already in bed.
Yeah.
He tucked it in further.
No, it was never a thing. Yeah. So we got some comments about the TNT crew being better than the ESPN crew. That's called foreshadowing. We'll be talking
about the ESPN
some ESPN news and how that might affect future Blackhawks broadcasts, maybe, possibly. Yeah. But before we get into that, and we're going to talk about the Alex DeBrincat stuff too, Mario needs to tell us about some delicious beers we could be drinking.
Yeah. The person that we'll talk about after the little ad read break here, he helped with the creation of the Blackhawks Pale Ale with Goose Island. Maybe they'll go back to him as he has some more free time.
Oh my gosh, one of my favorite gifts I've ever made is the
more inspiration
from that video.
Yeah, that was a great commercial.
Yeah. Goose Island, the proud sponsor of us here, beer sponsor of us here at CHGO. They are Chicago's beer since 1988. And how can you argue with the talented and deep beer roster that they have with the Goose IPA, the 6-time medal winner at the Great American Beer Fest, always in style with a citrus aroma and bold hop finish. You got the full pocket pills. The everyday beer is what the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking. The Tropical Beer Hug, a dry-hopped Imperial IPA that is 9.9 ABV. That is dangerously easy to drink. And on a day like today where we finally get some rain for all the people that needed it for their lawns.
All 3 minutes of it, apparently.
Yeah, a little flash rain. You can wait for the golden sun to come out while you're holding a golden can of 312, the staple of Goose Island's beer roster. You can go to their Goose Island Original Brew House on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, where you can grab an ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beer, or you can go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown, both those located in the great city of Chicago. That is Goose Island Beer Company.
And I'd like to give a shout-out to our newest sponsor here at CHGO, and that's Lewis University. If you are accelerated adults here that you're thinking about, I need to go back to school, but maybe I'm too old for it. Well, many of the students at Lewis University are adults just like you. Many of them have full-time jobs. Many have families. All of them chose Lewis's supportive educational community to make their transition back to school as easy as possible and earn a respected degree. Look at that. That's beautiful. I like that logo there, that little fighter pilot. There are plenty of reasons to seek out Lewis University and what they have to offer. It's just 35 miles southwest of Chicago. It is a comprehensive Catholic university ranked as one of U.S. News and World Report's top-tier colleges. Lewis partners with numerous employers for tuition discounts. Courses are offered in the evening, online, and blended formats to help you balance your work, your family, and your education. Faculty bring real-world experience and instruction to the classroom, which is immediately relevant to your career, and they offer career support and academic resources for adult students. Our own Jay Zawoski is an alumni of Lewis University, so I'm sure once he gets back in the saddle area, he's going to be telling you all the great things about Lewis University. So whether you're looking to complete your bachelor's degree, enroll in a professional certificate or graduate degree, Lewis has the right program for you. Lewis offers career-focused programs in business, computer science, and technology, criminal justice, education, nursing, and many high-demand fields. We're just going to highlight one here for you right now. The Lewis graduate program in computer science has 8-week sessions and can be completed in 1 year with concentrations in software engineering, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, digital forensics, enterprise, and cloud computing. Those seem like all very relevant things that you would get a job in almost immediately and have some good job security.
I hear that AI is becoming pretty big.
I hear it's coming for my job. So discover how a degree from Lewis can help you build a better world. Learn more at lewisu.edu. You can do this. So that's lewisu.edu. You can do this. Thank you to our new friends. You can do this. Yes, you can.
Lewis University. I feel like I'm on National Signing Day. Lewis University.
All right, Mario has chosen to take his talents to Lewis University. All right, speaking of taking talents elsewhere, there was a report out this morning from Front Office Sports. It was Michael McCarthy and AJ Perez with Front Office Sports. They have been told by two sources with knowledge of the matter that Chris Chelios, former Blackhawk great, won't return to ESPN as an in-studio hockey analyst. Of course, he's been doing a lot of those games with Mark Messier and PK Subban, Steve Levy, to mixed results, to say the least. They said his contract will not be renewed for next year, and his departure has nothing to do with his performance, but it's part of ESPN's examination of talent contracts this month. Apparently, their corporate overlords with the mouse ears are trying to cut thousands of jobs across their landscape, and it looks like Chelios is going to be one of those to not be brought back.
Yeah, ESPN is doing a lot of layoffs, so Chelios is not going to be the only on-air talent that will be getting the axe. Unfortunately, it's a cutthroat business. But yeah, I mean, I have nothing wrong with Chelios and the job that he's done with ESPN. I know we've talked about how TNT's broadcast it's a better product in the 2 seasons since it's been split between the 2 networks. But yeah, I think this kind of opens the door a little bit for him to do a little bit more with the Chicago broadcast. We'll see if that actually ends up happening. I mean, because we just talked yesterday. We said, we were asked the question about the broadcast, and I think you brought up maybe Chris Chelios does something, and I was like, well, you got to get him out of his contract. Well, there you go.
There is no contract.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I mean, maybe he does some studio work. I don't really see him in a color commentary role like Patrick Sharp and Troy Murray were last season. Not to say that he couldn't do it, but I just don't see that's necessarily his style. Right. He's more of that studio analyst, studio presence, pregame, postgame, intermission, all that stuff. But yeah, I do wonder if that opens the door for him to work with the Chicago broadcast group in some way. If he wants to do that, maybe he was just doing the ESPN thing for a bit just to see if he wanted to, see how far it would go. And now that it's, coming to an end for him, maybe he just says, maybe I'll just take some time off, do the, whole ambassador thing and not really commit to anything else, but we'll see. But I think, if he did want to have a role in the Chicago broadcast team, I don't think anyone would be too upset with that.
No, I mean, he could do the studio role. Lord knows that Scott Darling had a rough year being a studio analyst. I think that would be a major upgrade. We talked yesterday about getting Chris Foster's a color guy that's there for every game, not splitting. I don't know if Chelios wants to do that. I mean, it's a big difference from flying out for a Wednesday night game in New York once a week to basically becoming a full-time NHL player again and traveling and all that. But we'll see. Of course, as soon as that report comes out, the rumor mill starts churning and people start chattering, oh, he's going to do the color job for the Hawks. We'll see. But I do think we'll see him more around the team more this coming up year, whatever role he decides to take. If he does, or maybe he doesn't want to do anything. So we'll see about that. But that's an interesting tidbit. The timing of that was good for us.
And as far as and as far as I understand in the front office sports report, he's the only one from the hockey studio broadcast that is leaving. I think they're keeping everybody else: Steve Levy, Subban, Messier, Ryan Callahan, and Linda Cohn. Right? As far as I remember. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's unfortunate that it's him, but yeah, it could be beneficial for the Blackhawks and their broadcast team. That it would definitely be an upgrade for sure.
We do have the details.
We do have the details of the trade. This is coming from Frank Saravalli. So we'll try and keep this all square. Going to Columbus, Ivan Provorov and Kevin Connaughton. To the Flyers, the 2023 first round pick, 22nd overall. LA Kings 2024 second round pick. Columbus Blue Jackets second round pick in 2024 or 2025, so a conditional second round pick. Cal Peterson, Sean Walker, and prospect Helig Grans. And to the Kings, 30% of Provorov's deal. So they are only retaining on Provorov's contract.
Pretty
unless I have a detail incorrect here, I believe that is what we have. I mean that is a lot of moving pieces, and that is a huge W for the Flyers.
Oh, absolutely. Danny Briere just that's announcing your presence with authority, to quote Bull Durham. That's a great deal for the Flyers. They got a lot for not giving up a ton either.
There is one more piece. Hayden Hodgson from Philly to LA. So LA gets a down the lineup guy.
Cool. The Hayden Hodgson era begins in Los Angeles. Plan your ticker tape parades now. So that's quite the thing there. I'm glad we're not an Ass Jackets podcast because I'd be screaming right now.
No,
I have been screaming for a long time.
I'm not really a big fan of that trade.
No, not for them. So speaking of trades, as we were going off the air yesterday, Elliot Friedman, the wonderful Elliot Friedman at Sportsnet, put a little nugget out there about our old friend Alex DeBrincat, and he might be on the trade market. This is coming from direct from his report on Monday afternoon. The Ottawa Senators have begun examining the trade market for winger Alex DeBrincat. One source referred to it as Ottawa's due diligence as, according to multiple sources, DeBrincat recently indicated he wished to wait until the completion of the Senators' ownership saga before thinking of committing to a long-term extension. Even if the Senators pick a new owner in the near future, there's still a sale closing process, which will take time. DeBrincat needs a new contract for 23-24. He's 1 year away from unrestricted free agency. So... lots to unpack there, lots to think about. It doesn't say DeBrincat has asked to be traded. It doesn't say DeBrincat has said he doesn't want to sign with the Senators, but they're looking for an insurance policy. And this is the exact reason why so many people thought the Blackhawks didn't get enough in return for DeBrincat.
Yeah.
Because the Senators didn't know if they could keep him after 1 year. So we'll see how this happens. It'll be interesting if he does get traded, what kind of return they'll get for him. Now, I could see it being possibly better than what the Hawks gave up for him. But if that comes with a new long-term extension, you're going to get more.
Right.
You're going to get more for a guy that's going to play for you for 5 or 6 years as opposed to just one guaranteed. So we'll see how that goes. I know a lot of people already say, well, bring him back here. If he didn't fit into the timeline last year, still doesn't fit into the timeline, even with Connor Bedard. Now, DeBrincat and Bedard could be better together. Could be a good combination together because it seems pretty evident to me with his one. Now, he didn't have a bad year.
He had a down year.
He had a down year.
Mm-hmm.
But he still had 27 goals, I believe, 66 points. Not what you give up the number 7 overall pick for.
No.
But it seems pretty evident to me that DeBrincat is a guy that cannot create his own offense. He needs to be on a line that can create the space for him to find the soft spot in the ice and get off that shot. He didn't have that in Ottawa.
He's not the elite level cornerstone piece that I think Ottawa may have hoped he was going to be.
He's Patrick Sharp.
Yeah, I think
as far as
I think that's a fine comparison. I think maybe he does a little bit. He has a little bit higher of a ceiling as a goal scorer than maybe Sharp was. But I think playing in that role where he's not the focal point, but he is the benefactor of having someone else to kind of open the ice for him and open up those passing lanes, shooting lanes, and be able to play up to his high level skill. I think that pairing him with Patrick Kane for his entire Blackhawks career was the biggest benefit for him.
Absolutely.
So it won't happen. But the thought of Bedard playing with DeBrincat and how their styles match up, man, that would be a lot of fun to watch. But it won't happen. It won't happen. Right? It won't happen? It won't happen.
No,
it won't
I don't see it happening.
No, it won't happen.
I don't see it happening. And plus, for a lot of reasons. As I said, if he wasn't in the timeline last year, how is he still in the timeline?
Right. I mean, the only reason that I would see, one, I don't think Ottawa's just going to give him back to Chicago. That doesn't
They're going to be like, sure, we'll trade him for Kevin Korchinski.
Right. We want all our picks back.
Those guys you picked last year, we'll give those back, and we'll give you DeBrincat.
Yeah, right. But, yeah, I mean, I think he'll be coming off of this past season. He might have knocked down his asking price a little bit, but it's still the qualifying offer for him is what, $9 million?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not paying that for
that is a lot.
For a guy that pretty much can only play with Connor Bedard if you want him to be fully effective. I'm not saying that he only.
If you want to maximize his effectiveness, yes, you got to play with someone else.
And I don't want to say anchored Connor Bedard, but it also limits the people he could play with. It's the same thing with Strome.
It takes a chunk. It takes a chunk of the salary cap up. It takes it limits your creativity in the lineup. Now, if you didn't need to move those two guys away from each other, that's fine. But I think if you were bringing him in, it does kind of lock in 2 players, maybe even 3 players that need to stick together.
Yeah.
But I think hypothetically that would be a pretty high level line.
It would be. It would be. And that's such a.
But it just won't happen.
That's such a he who shall not be named move too.
Yeah.
But it would. But if he who shall not be named was doing it, he would be doing it 5 years from now.
Right.
But I just, I people want to see it, but I like Alex DeBrincat, but he wasn't in Kyle Davidson's plan from day one. So why is he going to be right now? And
if he was, he would have gotten.
He would have stayed.
He would have gotten the extension. He wouldn't have been traded. It wouldn't have happened that way. So, yeah, to think that he would come back, that's just not how business is done.
No. So. Yeah, but I'm sure we're going to see. A lot of it. It's going to be in our YouTube chats. It's going to be in our Twitter feeds. Bring back DeBrincat. It's like,
I mean, it's like I said, coming. You don't trade a guy to one team and then they trade him back for less value that they traded him to you to.
Because it's going to make you look like a dope, and then it kind of makes both GMs bad. You'd be like, oh. We both made a mistake on that trade. Let's pretend it never happened.
Yeah,
you don't see that very often.
Yeah, it's probably best for DeBrincat that he goes to a team that is a little bit more. A lot of people had a lot of high expectations for the Senators with him.
Yeah.
And with the group
if
that they
had
put
some
together.
Goaltending, they could have been a playoff team.
Yeah.
But they traded Philip Gustafsson to Minnesota for Cam Talbot, and Gustafsson helped Minnesota get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
hey, maybe
they should have traded for Aiden Hill.
Maybe they're in on Carter Hart.
Maybe.
Who's apparently getting worked on by Philly as well. Yeah, it's an interesting situation. The little nugget that he's waiting on the Senators ownership to be figured out before that's not happening before July 1st.
That's not happening. I don't think that gets settled before the season starts.
No.
At this pace, the way that keeps getting
Yeah.
jerked around. Yeah, I don't know. So,
yeah, I don't see that happening, but it'll be interesting to kind of follow along, see what happens, where he goes, and how the league around the league values him, because now, like you said, like you kind of saw him without that like high end driver that he could benefit off of. And yeah, I mean, he was still a really good player, but he wasn't the 40 goals,
right,
flirting with 50 goal pace kind of guy that he was when he was here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like if this was 20, 25, 25, 26, 3-4 years from now, and DeBrincat was out there, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, let's go get him back, because he would fit more. You'd have a more defined role. Like you'd be okay with putting him on one spot. If you were a sniper away from winning a Stanley Cup, you go get him. But the Hawks aren't in that position.
No,
they're not in a position to compete next year. That's not the name of the game.
No.
So there's really no reason to do it, and we'll see where that goes. We'll definitely keep you guys abreast of that. So we got about 20 minutes or so left of our show, and we have some leftovers. Everybody loves good leftovers. Today was leftover pasta day in the CHGO office. Everybody had a Tupperware tub of pasta for lunch, apparently. So we're going to have a Tupperware tub of questions left over from our meal yesterday.
Mailbag leftovers.
Mailbag leftovers on a Tuesday. So we had so many questions that we need to get to some today, which is great. Thanks for helping us program 2 days worth of content instead of just one.
Before we dive into those questions, do you want to tell the good people about how to save some energy?
I suppose we could do that.
Might as well.
Saving money is a good thing, and our friends at ComEd will help you save on two things: money and energy, or as we like to call Monergy. With the ComEd efficiency program that's committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage every energy let me start that sentence over again. Helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now into the future.
That is right. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, and industrial processes.
Why don't you tell our lovely listeners how that works, Mario?
I will tell them that. Hey, lovely listeners, an authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. So if you own a business, Lawrence, don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to comed.com/poweringbiz.
Was that comed.com/poweringbiz, B-I-Z, as in the non-elite hockey player?
It indeed is. comed.com/poweringbiz, B-I-Z. Go out and schedule your appointments today once the show is over.
And it took all of 9 seconds for us to get the first DeBrincat to Detroit, because, he's from Michigan.
Sure.
You can only play for your hometown team.
Got to play for your hometown team, right?
I hope not. I like him too much. I don't want him to play for the Red Wings.
Do they even have the cap space to sign him? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think they do.
I don't care.
I'll check it. I'll check it while you tell
all right,
people
well, Lawrence
about
fires up our first leftover question. We'll try and get through these quickly.
All right, this is from the Discord.
Discord, yes.
This is Reese Johnson fan.
Ah, yes.
If you're
Future
in
captain.
Kyle Davidson's shoes and you get another lottery pick next year, who do you target in free agency in 2024?
It's a good question.
If you get another lottery pick next year, who do you target in free agency in 2024?
Well, they're going to get another lottery pick next year.
Likely, yeah.
I mean, is it going to be top 5? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like this team is going to be in the lottery, but I don't know if they're going to be in the lottery for the top overall pick. We'll see. Hopefully that's not the case. I would like to see some fun hockey with Connor Bedard and a few more wins than last season. But yeah, I mean, going to the free agency class of 2024, obviously there's a lot of big fish potentially in the pond. The biggest one is Austin Matthews. There's a lot going on with his contract situation. You know, he has the no movement clause that kicks in July 1st, wants a contract extension done with the Maple Leafs before then. Who knows what happens even if he hits free agency. But, I mean, there's some names out there that are highly intriguing. I mean, we talk about it all the time how, you know, the 2023, this year's free agency class is nothing compared to the next two. I mean, you look at it top to bottom, Austin Matthews, Anze Kopitar, I know he's 36, going to be 37. You got an aging Steven Stamkos, you got an aging Blake Wheeler, but you also have Sebastian Aho, Elias Pettersson, William Nylander, Sam Reinhart. You go down the list, Jake Gensel. There's a lot of really good players that are going to be potentially available out there. I like the idea of a different Toronto Maple Leaf that will likely hit the free agency market because Toronto probably gets a deal done with Austin Matthews. And I think that'll come at the expense of William Nylander. I know that there's PTSD in the Chicago fan base for the Nylander family, but William is way ahead of where Alex ever will be in his career as a hockey player. And, you know, I think that's a guy that doesn't get as much credit for how good of a player he is as he should, because he's part of that Toronto group that overshadows him with Matthews and Marner there. So I that would be someone that I would, if the Blackhawks are trying to make a splash and, you know, not necessarily going after the biggest fish in the pond, but one of the bigger ones, I would be very okay with William Nylander coming to Chicago.
Yeah, Elliot Friedman has said in the past that he doesn't see Nylander getting moved as far as a trade this offseason because that was the first pick of the Brendan Shanahan regime, and there's some loyalty there. But as far as, yeah, somebody's going to have to go.
Yeah.
Because the following summer, Mitch Marner is a free agent.
And he's not taking a pay cut from making almost $11 million.
Yeah. So one, if not two of those guys are going to be sacrificed. Or maybe just enough is enough. We're going to try something different, which apparently isn't happening this summer.
No.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Matthews isn't there. Nylander's a good one. Looking at this list, Sebastian Aho is a guy I may put as like my number one. Like, if he's there. There's a lot of talk that they want to get him extended this summer.
Yeah.
See what happens. Aho with Bedard and Reichel on his wings, either or. If Bedard's not a center,
It'd be interesting.
he's the same age as Austin Matthews. He's only 26.
Yeah.
So that's a guy. Jake Gensel is an interesting name. And then another guy that is going to be due for a big raise, and people don't like re-signing in Calgary, apparently. Elias Lindholm is a guy that's in part of that class. Another center.
Yeah.
He's a little older. He'll be 29, and so there's definitely some options. I think it was going to depend on like how the prospects are developing. Like if you're happy with the projection that these guys are taking, maybe you wait till 2025 to make that big splash. And the 2025 free agency class is pretty darn good too. So it's going to be a patient wait and see. It's pretty obvious to me that Kyle Davidson is sticking to his original plan. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep. Another free agent next summer, Teuvo Teravainen.
Don't get me started. I get the heart palpitations are.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Bring him back. Come on.
That is one of the very few bring him backs that I'm all for.
Yeah, him and Max Domi.
Sure.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
In consecutive summers.
There we go. Sounds good. Bring them all back. All right. What's our next question there, Lawrence?
Well, let's go to our good friend Charlie the Bacon Guy.
Where's our bacon, Charlie?
Yes,
Yeah,
also that.
I was told Bacon Day was happening.
That's our question for you.
We'll answer your question when we get that bacon you promised.
Yeah, never mind. He says, who started the dumb slingshot power play entry? What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know who started it, but I hate it.
I don't know who started it. I do not like it. I've expressed many times on this show and on social media how much I hate the slingshot power play zone entry system. And I think the reason I hate it is because it's never been successful with the Blackhawks. Other teams use it. I think majority of teams use it in the NHL, and I don't know if it's a systematic problem or a personnel problem. I think last year probably just a personnel problem for the Blackhawks, where they don't necessarily have the best horses to run the slingshot system. But I personally, from my limited X's and O's brain, it just doesn't make sense in my eyes to have on a power play 4 players skate up to the blue line and stop and dump the puck back to one player who will then skate up to the blue line and have to go through a wall of 9 players, or chip the puck in and he's the only one with speed, while the other 4 from a standstill have to then go into the zone and try and get the puck. To me, it makes way less sense than just trying to have all the players rush at the same time. You can still chip it in and rush, but at least they're all moving at the same time.
Yeah, stationary guys are very easy to defend.
Right.
And it seems like momentum is key on movement, and momentum is so key to power play success. It seems like teams have trouble getting the puck in the zone. If and when we get Luke Richardson back on the show,
we need a whiteboard.
Hopefully that will become, a semi-regular thing at some point. That's one of the plays I want to ask him about specifically, why it's run and why he thinks it's good or bad, because Luke Richardson breaks down the X's and O's better than anybody I've ever talked to. So I want to get his take on it, because he'll be able to explain it in layman's terms and dummy it down a little bit so even guys like me can understand why it shouldn't be used. So we're saving that one for if and when we get Luke Richardson back on.
Yeah, we definitely need a giant whiteboard for that show for sure.
Charlie does say Bacon Day is coming. Now I've heard that
So is
before.
Christmas.
Yeah, he says probably after the draft, 4th
after
of
the draft
July.
/ 4th of July.
All right.
We would love it.
Well, next time you're visiting your family on the North Shore, let me know. I got some bacon needs.
Yeah, seriously. So do
we
I.
all have bacon needs.
Yeah, I have bacon needs. This is also from our Discord. Thank you to our guy, Gary Ross. He says, now that Keith has been retired a year, when is his jersey going to be retired?
When the Blackhawks need a sellout.
I mean, they're going to have a lot more next season. Yeah, I mean, he is currently working with the development staff with the Oilers. I don't know if that's a hindrance at all.
I think so.
I wouldn't think so. You'd imagine once. Yeah, you'd imagine that once is his dead money done with the Oilers?
So.
Okay,
I believe so.
Or with it was with the Blackhawks rather.
The contract is
done. Okay.
There may be one more year of the cap penalty, recapture penalty. I think there is, but he's no longer under contract.
Right. Let me look that up. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Yes, still one more year of recapture this year. So I don't know if that delays it till next season, but I would imagine since he's been retired, they did Hossa. You might as well start getting all these guys up there now, right?
Yeah,
I don't think there's any reason.
The Seabrook
to
contract
wait.
comes officially off the books in 2024, so you could do Keith this year, you could do Seabrook next year. When we know what happens with Taves, that's going to happen. Maybe that's what they're waiting for.
Yeah, I think that might be.
They want to do Taves first. Mm-hmm. Keith and Seabrook would be fun to do on the same night. But you don't want to sacrifice 2 gates.
Well, yeah, and all those and those guys, you would think they all get their night.
Yeah. Plus, I think Seabrook, you have to dual retire for him and Chelios.
Yeah.
You can't just do it for Seabrook.
I think that becomes the
just like you
issue.
did with number 3. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked one way or the other if it happens this year or if they wait. They might be waiting on what Jonathan Taves decides to do, because if he does officially retire, you got to do that one almost immediately.
They would do it this season.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it's coming.
For sure, yeah.
All right. Now, this comes
a couple more leftovers
from Twitter. This is Matt. He says, expectations for Lucas Reichel next year?
Well, I already blurted out on a post-game show last year that he's going to lead the Hawks in points this year. That was before Connor Bedard was drafted.
You did.
And I'm going to stick to that prediction.
That is.
I have to stick to my prediction. I made it. It's out there. It's in the universe.
It's a bold prediction.
I'm going to ride with it.
Much like we said yesterday with the expectations or the over-under for Connor Bedard, we set it at about 65, 70 points as a rookie. I think Lucas Reichel could be close to that range, especially if the two are playing together. I feel like they would play well off of each other. He finished this season, I believe his scoring pace was somewhere around a 50-point pace. I think he can do that at least next year. Again, a lot of it comes down to who else is he playing with. But if he plays the majority of the season on a trio with Bedard as part of the equation, I think reaching and exceeding the 50-point mark should be the expectation for a guy like Reichel.
Yeah, I
don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna lead the team.
I'm not as confident in that prediction as I once was. But I'm going to stick with it. And we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll look like a genius, or maybe I'll just look like an idiot. And Lord knows I am used to looking like an idiot. I have made many awful predictions on this show.
Sure.
So what's one more?
What is one more?
Speaking of one more, do we have one more question?
Yeah, let's do one more. Although, should we mention this chat here from Windy City Hockey saying, Greg, you should have to shave if Reichel isn't the leading point scorer this year.
Yeah, no.
Interesting.
I'm not that confident in that pick.
Okay,
I'm not. I don't risk hair or beards or anything. I rarely even risk money on my predictions. So, no, I should not shave if he's not.
Sorry, Windy. Okay,
But if he is, you should shave your head. How about that?
Yeah, take that, Windy. All right, we'll do one more here. This is from Nathan. It looks like his handle is pretty awesome. Nintendo64, which I think is kind of cool.
All right,
he says, if the Blackhawks were to ever leave the United Center and build their own stadium, what is one feature / facility / et cetera that they don't have now that you would most want to have as a member of the media? As a fan, what would you add? So that's sort of a two-parter.
As a member of the media.
Well, between Fifth Third and the United Center, they're pretty...
They have a lot.
They do have a lot.
I mean, literally between Fifth Third and the United Center, I would like maybe a skywalk, and for when it's February.
Just walk up and over.
Yeah, I mean, a podcast studio would be cool. At your building that we could just get right in to do our post game shows. Hey, they do have a studio in that atrium that may or may not be occupied for much longer. I don't know, but
potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. Media wise, there's not much to complain about there as far as the facilities they have for us.
No.
More gummy bears. That's about first world problems. As a fan, again, I think the fan experience at the United Center is pretty cool.
It's pretty good, yeah.
I mean, there's good.
I think what would be really cool is I know that they, for special occasions, special events, special nights, they'll have different setups in the atrium. I would love to see some sort of like Blackhawks history, like little Blackhawks museum, something like that would be in the facility that you could go through and tour and see some old jerseys, old Stanley Cup rings, game used sticks, pucks, skates, stuff like that from the 60s and 70s, all that stuff. I think that would be really cool.
Plus, that's something you could just keep open on non-game days and charge an admission fee to.
Right.
Another revenue stream. That would be really cool.
I think that would be really cool. Some sort of museum informational thing you can put in. A lot of stuff about the team history of war leader Blackhawk and all that stuff. I think that would be I think that'd be really beneficial for the team to have. It could be, honoring, educating, and all that stuff. You could put a Blackhawks Hall of Fame in there. Who knows? Something like that I think would be really cool.
That would be cool. And I think something like we've seen in other cities where like the players, fans can be around the players when they leave the locker room. I kind of like those. Like Edmonton has.
Oh, yeah, where they walk through.
Yeah, where they kind of walk through the fans to get to the ice. I think that's kind of a cool thing. We have a couple people saying
James
wider
says
seats.
Wider seats. Not
I
a bad
agree with
idea.
that. I need a wider seat, but that's never going to happen because if the seats are wider, that means there's less of them, and that means less tickets to sell. So a wider seat comes with a more expensive seat because
Just build a bigger arena.
Just have them play at the new Soldier Field in whatever suburb that's going to be in, allegedly.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things they could do. I do like that museum idea. And like as we said, the media thing, a podcast studio, and I'm serious about that. Like have a spot for
if they had some sort of like quiet studio space, that could be write it on the board. We have it this time. Athletic has it this time. I think that'd be cool.
We could do our post game shows live from the United Center. We don't have to come back, and we can get a player come walk down the hallway and sit in with us for 5 or 10
Now
minutes.
we're talking.
That'd be fun.
See?
Now we're talking.
That'd be good. But they have their own network to get those
To cater to.
priorities. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't know. Maybe CHGO can become the official broadcast partner of the Blackhawks here in the next couple of years.
You hear that?
We're going to need some better
Kevin,
cameras.
Jake, let's work on that.
Let's get. Maybe we might need help from. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. All right. Well, that wraps up our leftovers, and they were just as tasty as the original meal. So we appreciate all of you guys sending those in on Twitter and our Diehards Only Discord. If you want to get access to that Diehards Only Discord, you got to become a CHGO Diehard. And you can do that by heading over to allchgo.com and clicking on the Diehard menu there. Your membership gets you so many perks. You're going to get access to all of our premium written content. You're going to get a free shirt. You get to pick any shirt or hat out of the CHGO locker upon signing up, and you get one free shirt or hat per year when you renew. Plus, you're going to get 20% off all your merchandise purchases, including all of those great shirts we have. There's another one coming late June. And you also get discounts on tickets to our events, like our CHGO road trip to Nashville. Jay, Mario, and myself are going to be in Nashville for draft week. And that Tuesday, we are going to have a little happy hour party with our friends, our listeners, and all you great Blackhawk fans over at the Hopsmith Tavern. For a low price, you're going to get 3 hours of open bar and some appetizers. And you're also going to be the first to get our new draft-themed shirt, which will be dropping around 6:02 p.m. on Wednesday the 28th. So you can guess for yourself what the theme of that shirt might be, but you're going to guarantee yourself one of those. And Diehards save 20% off on those tickets. So become a Diehard. You're going to get this great little box over here that comes with stickers and your official membership card and your free shirt. And you'll have our undying gratitude, which, is priceless. So
Absolutely.
Lots of fun stuff coming up. There's a look at our
yeah, let's just look again.
Let's look at our boy
these
again.
are just they're just such great photos of our guy. Yeah. I mean, not our guy. Maybe
if we pick him, he'll be our guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawrence is man crushing, and it's okay.
I mean,
it's kind of cute. He's
our
smile on his face.
It's like
right
my
now.
son, really. He's our sweet, beautiful boy.
Yes, he's our precious son. He's replacing Teuvo Teravainen as my precious son.
Until Teuvo comes back.
Right. Well, he's going to be too old to be my son at that point. All right. That's going to wrap up this awesome Tuesday edition. Mario and I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, there's going to be a lot of more weird, wacky things coming out.
Give
so
it
we
24
have things
hours.
to talk about. Yeah.
The hockey world sometimes... Most often.
Yes, they will. So smash that like button on the way out the door. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to your podcast. And join the two of us again tomorrow at 2 p.m. for another edition of the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.